Sounds.
Well, on Pet Sounds, which is generally considered an interpretation of the Phil Spector recording style, or utilizing instruments combining, say, pianos with guitars to form a unique instrument. In other words, if you combine them electronically well enough, you're not going to have a guitar or a piano. You're going to have piano-guitar, a new instrument. And if you use two pianos and two guitars, it's going to be more profound. Combining flutes and piccolos and French horns and trumpets. You see, in the 40s and 50s, arrangements were considered, okay, here, listen to that French horn, or let's listen to this string section now. You know what I mean? It was all a definite sound. There weren't combinations of sound. And with the advent of Phil Spector, we find sound combinations, which scientifically speaking is it's a brilliant aspect of sound production.
Ike Frasier Industries presents another vinyl show with Ike Frasier.
It's Pet Sounds' birthday, May 16th, 1966. And I tell you what, there's so many different versions of Pet Sounds, as we all know. Which one is this? This one is... Ooh, that's the split right there. God bless America. That's beautiful. But, with the limited edition sticker back there. Very awesome. But when I was a kid, I couldn't find Pet Sounds, and nobody had it anywhere, and I tried to order it, and I didn't get it. And I found this in a used record store, Beach Boys 66-69 from France, and it has 8 songs from Pet Sounds on it. So that's the best I could do until I got a later copy. And of course, now we have so many different copies to choose from. There's the RSD clear one, and the splatter right there, and the double split, which this is supposed to be the same thing as the vinyl file that's coming out. So if you have the 2-color UK one, or is this US? So that's UK, that's mono and stereo. Then you really don't need that one right there, even though it's going to be a very nice pressing. But the first single from Pet Sounds was the solo Brian Wilson single. And people say, oh, was Brian Wilson going to quit the Beach Boys, or was Capitol Records trying to squeeze out extra money out of Pet Sounds? Because the Sloop John B single was just released a few weeks later, March 23rd, 1966. It became a number 3 single and a hit all around the world. That's cool, American Picture Sleeve. But Pet Sounds peaked, what does it say here? Pet Sounds peaked July 2nd, 1966 at number 10. Now think about that for a second. July 2nd, 1966. It has only been out for 2 months. Barely. And it's at number 10. And what does Capitol do to help Pet Sounds out? On June 5th, while Pet Sounds is still rising up the charts, I don't know if that's a very good record or not, and they slap out Best of the Beach Boys. Now, Best of the Beach Boys, I guess, is a fun record when you're a kid or something, but you talk about the forward momentum that Brian and the Beach Boys were having, and this record totally kills it, but sucks up all the sales that could have went to this, because when this record comes out, just a few days later, Wouldn't It Be Nice is released as a single. Wouldn't It Be Nice didn't even get a picture sleeve, where most Beach Boys singles up to this time, Brian's Caroline No didn't get a picture sleeve in America, and Wouldn't It Be Nice didn't get a picture sleeve in America. And then Pet Sounds, kind of hovered and sank, so it never had that momentum that it should have had in America, where Wouldn't It Be Nice is a huge single in the UK. Pet Sounds is number 2 in America. It's number 10, so that's kind of a disappointment. But we all know it's a great record. We all love the record, the crazy cover. You just can't say enough about how great this record is, and Tony Asher writing the lyrics there. Mike Love changing Hang On to Your Ego to I Know There's an Answer. Pet Sounds, the instrumental, just really awesome. Brian said he didn't want to write film music, but at the exact same time, Pet Sounds was Run James Run, and he was trying to make a James Bond song, right? So, But Pet Sounds is incredible. It's its anniversary. I have not got my DSS yet, right? Yep, DSS has not come yet. And supposedly the Splatter Sessions will be here. And I'll be showing you guys that. They're supposed to be here tomorrow, actually, which is kind of exciting. But Amazon has the highlights of the Sessions LP on yellow vinyl now. So there's the Splatter, the black, and now the Amazon exclusive on yellow vinyl. I don't know if that has the textured cover or if it's numbered like the Splatter, but I guess we'll find out. But if you got one of those editions of Pet Sounds, tell us which ones you're getting. Pretty awesome. And if you have any of these weird ones here from the past couple of anniversaries, let us know about that. You know, most of these are stereo, right? The clear vinyl, the Splatter, and the Split. The Split says that it's mono, is that right? It is not. It just has that cover with a sticker on it. So, but it does have a cascading label, right? Everybody wants the cascading label on their Pet Sounds. But Pet Sounds is really great, and we know about the single that comes up in the middle of those sessions, and then he pulls it back. And it's so funny because he did want to release Good Vibrations earlier than he did, but he changed his mind. And so when you have an original Wouldn't It Be Nice God Only Knows single, the number for it from Capitol is 5706. But the number for Good Vibrations, which wasn't released until October, is 5676. It's earlier. But that's because he got a master number in July, then said, oh no. And I said, okay, well, we'll put it out. And they did that. So, Wouldn't It Be Nice still did come before Good Vibrations, but it did come after Pet Sounds and after Best of the Beach Boys. So there we go. But hopefully we'll see those new pressings sometime soon, whenever they arrive. But I tell you what, it's really exciting, Pet Sounds' birthday, and I hope you guys enjoyed the little video that's up next. I'm your old host, Ike Frasier. I'm glad to see you guys. And if you mind, give us a like. Those thumbs up really help. And if you want to subscribe and get the notifications, that would be really fantastic. We appreciate all the support out there. Pet Sounds.
And we were stoned, and Rubber Soul just took me away. It took me away. So I went to the piano and I started writing Pet Sounds.
But I think the big influence was Pet Sounds, Beach Boys. That was the album flipped me. Still does, actually. Still one of my favourite albums of all time. Just because the musical invention on that is like, wow. But that was the big thing for me. I just thought, oh dear me, this is the album of all time.
I took an American version of Pet Sounds in May of '66 to England, and then Keith Moon and I hit it off stupendously. And then Keith really, in his dream world of wishes, he would rather have been in Jan and Dean or the Beach Boys. Yet he does all this great drumming in the Who and enlisting all that. And he wanted to be, I don't want to say in a surf band, but he wanted to be in that kind of California, musical style. Keith Moon and I did some clubbing, which was really fun, and a couple drop-ins and Ready, Steady, Go, and Radio Fusion, and all that stuff. And Keith was probably 18 or 19. And then I got back, and I had a couple people meeting me, and Keith had brought Lennon and McCartney over to the hotel. And we were able to sit down. Now check this out, and I put it on my record player with the speakers in it. That's what I was able to get from the hotel to play music, okay? So I was able to play the mono, which sounded great, and then we played it through, and then we played it again. And Lennon and McCartney, they were awesome. They were so polite and cool and loved the music. It was a great experience. Apparently, the vibe of Wouldn't It Be Nice crept into Here, There, and Everywhere on the Revolver album. So I show up in England, and The Messenger is not shot, and EMI, much to their credit abroad, I think Sloop John B was a hit in England at that time. and spreading around Europe. Well, they got right behind the album because of the reaction of a lot of the artists and the Beatles. So in England and Europe, Pet Sounds was a big deal. In America, you know, they're smiling and suggesting things and getting Best of the Beach Boys, Volume 1, ready. That means, oh, I guess it's almost over. Let's put that out. And I think the record label in America really let him down, really let him down. And I think this, all of a sudden, this can't do anything wrong guy was made to feel, or probably felt that he'd done something wrong, and he probably started losing a little of his confidence.
It's called the first concept album. It doesn't go anywhere. Mr. Kite, all my contributions have absolutely nothing to do with this idea of Sgt. Pepper and his band. But it works, because we said it worked, and that's how it appeared. Yeah. But it was not as put together as Pet Sounds.
Yeah.